Yeah.
20,000 euros, I could not even imagine because I had read somewhere that the fine for traveling, ticketless traveling in a train is, I think, some 5,000 euros or something like that. And here I'm going like one, two, three, four people. I was like, oh my God, we are going to be poor after this trip. So sorry that you had to come from India and you have to work at a McDonald's right now. I don't need your empathy or sympathy right now.
He asked me, like, hey, you're Indian, right? Like, yeah, so you eat everything with hand, right? Like, yeah. So how do you drink your soup?
No.
He
That
he he genuinely thought
is
that
that.
yeah, we drink soup like this. I'm like, are you kidding me?
For a year and a half, I gave 11 interviews. 11 interviews in the same company, out of which I think in five or six of them I reached the finals. And it was always something that, oh, so sorry, Sonika, this is not going to work out. I was like, what? मेरी selection नहीं हुई है? I was like, what? How could this happen to me? So anybody out there who feels like, they're in a dead end job, or something is not moving, if the needle is not moving, you've got to move it. You
Yeah.
have to kind of, wind your clock.
Hey yo English learners, welcome to another thrilling episode of the English Breakdown Conversations. So my guest today is pretty well known amongst the Indian YouTube English learning journey, I'll say, because I've seen Sonika in many videos. So welcome to the show, Sonika. How are you?
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much for that generous, welcome and introduction. I don't know if I'd call myself well known, but thank you for saying that. It did make me feel a little better. But yes, thank you so much for having me. And this is something that I was really looking forward to. And I'm so glad that we could, make it work. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes. Okay, so Sonika, as I just mentioned, we have 15 topics and we'll go through 4 or 5 topics and we'll
Okay.
spend some minutes around it. Okay. So
Okay.
as my guest, could you please choose a topic?
I think I would like to begin with first impressions.
First impressions. Okay. So first, I would like to ask you, let me
Mhm.
choose a question. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. Have you ever felt judged because of your appearance, accent, or the way you speak? What happened?
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. If you'd asked me this question a few years ago before I moved to Canada, I would have said no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
But I think when we moved to Canada, my husband and I did notice that sometimes, the first impression people have of you is because when they see you, they kind of, there is this, they call it like a prejudice in your mind. They don't want to be out and about racist,
Yeah.
but there is something like, oh, brown person, oh, must be good in IT. They have
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things. Okay?
exactly.
Brown person, IT, did ask me that. Software? No. Okay. And then when they hear you speak English and you're not hesitating, you're not like, then
Uh-huh.
they're like, oh, you speak really well. Like everything they ask you, right, is
Yeah.
little like, like I didn't know about that. So I feel like this used to happen quite often. And I think I've spoken about this in the previous podcast. Is our first job in Canada was in McDonald's. So I feel like when they see an Indian person working in a McDonald's abroad, their assumption is that, oh, so, may not be too educated, may not be doing like, there's again a presumption more than an assumption over here.
Oh, yeah.
But the minute you start speaking, they're like, oh, then I would go like, I would get this question, oh, why are you working at a McDonald's? Right? Like that is the next question now. So I would sometimes feel like
Yeah.
there is not judgment, there is so much presumption, assumption
Yeah.
happening here.
They
Just
already have some kind of perception about Indians or brown skin that, like they come like, if you go to a foreign country, they already know or they have a belief that, oh, this person is here to study or something, they're migrating, or maybe he's
exactly.
illegal immigrant or something, and he's just working between jobs to pay the bills.
Right.
So yeah, exactly. I can,
So they put
and this is
all of
something
us.
more so in the West.
And some of them who are not trying to be racist also, they have this, white savior complex
Uh,
where they go like, oh my God, it's so sad. Like they would like hear some of the story and they go like, oh, I'm so sorry that you had to come from India and you have to work at a McDonald's right now. And my thing is like, don't worry. Like, you don't have, I don't need your empathy or sympathy right now.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but then when they hear you being articulate, right, or speaking and speaking maybe mostly better than them. So then they're also taken aback. So I would get this question quite a lot. Wow, you speak English quite well. So it's not like, oh, wow, you're so good. It's like, how are you so good?
All right, good. Now I would like you to ask me a question.
Okay. Okay, this is a good one. So, in your opinion, what qualifies what qualities make someone genuinely charismatic and memorable?
So whenever we come across the word charisma, we
Hmm.
always think of somebody loud, and
Hmm.
he's like occupied completely. Like
Hmm.
he has this certain aura. Like, oh,
Correct.
I'm somebody big who's come into the crowd, and you better step down. Let me be in the spotlight and everything. But I've seen that's not really the case. Because
Okay.
whenever you speak, that is what makes you charismatic. And over here, I'm saying like authenticity, your
Correct.
personality is much more thing than just being loud.
I absolutely agree.
Yes, because you have to be approachable. It shouldn't be like, oh, I feel so scared to talk to him.
Hmm.
That will make you feel like, oh my God, he's just untouchable in a
True, true, true.
supremacistic way.
True.
And people should not have a kind of like a superiority complex towards you. And even
Agreed.
like when I'm talking to someone, I should not make them feel inferior.
100%. I
So
completely agree with that.
yeah, so I think for the word charisma should be more associated with confidence and how genuine and authentic you are, rather than this illusion that he is charismatic.
Correct. Sometimes it happens, right? You meet someone, and for the first few minutes, you're in awe because of that the big boldness. Somebody who comes
Yeah.
and occupies the entire room. But within a few minutes, you realize that there isn't much metal over here. There's only like
Yeah,
a lot of talk.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a good start to the conversation.
Yes,
So
I would
let
agree.
us choose. Okay, so because you're my guest, I'll let you choose all the topics.
Also, I have to choose all.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah, yeah. You're my guest.
Okay, I will love that. Okay, we will do travel disasters.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories.
I have a lot of stories too with travel.
All right, so I'll let you ask first now.
Okay, let me see. Okay, what's the funniest misunderstanding you've had because of language or cultural differences while traveling?
Hmm. Okay. What's the funniest
Let's say if you
misunderstanding?
live in Vietnam right now, right? So
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
that experience? Because
yeah.
I think of those things when you live in a different country where English
Oh,
is not the
oh,
primary language.
I think this one is the funniest I've ever had.
Okay.
Okay, so when I first came to Vietnam, I was living in a homestay, an English homestay, which basically
Okay.
meant that I was teaching English to students in a big house consisting of like 30 or something students and like five
Okay.
foreigners. So it was like a language exchange homestay kind of a thing.
Okay.
Okay,
Interesting.
so over there, the thing is that the students could meet foreigners and they would get to know something beyond their knowledge. Okay, just like broaden their horizon.
Correct.
So one guy over there who just like was a newbie over there, he asked me like, hey, you're Indian, right? Like, yeah, so you eat everything with hand, right? Like, yeah, so how do you drink your soup?
No.
he
That
he he genuinely thought that,
yeah.
yeah, we drink soup like this. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like, what is your brain like? How can you think like? But I think that was the funniest thing, because it's Vietnam. Okay, they drink a lot of soupy
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like
Yeah,
pho
exactly.
and everything. So
Mhm.
he gave me chopsticks, and then he asked me, "Do you want spoon?" I'm
Yeah.
yeah, of course I want spoon. How else am I gonna drink up the soup? He's like,
Yeah.
no, you're Indian, right? So you can just do this.
Crazy, right? No, they're not even thinking that we will pick up the bowl and sip it. They actually think they're going to do this and drink it.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah,
Wild.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's pretty funny.
amazing. All
Okay,
right.
to this, what, Rahul, to the same question, and I have something to tell you also, and that is
Sure.
about Vietnam only. Okay,
Oh.
that's when I heard the questions, the first thing came to my head. So my husband and I went on a honeymoon to Vietnam 11 years ago,
Oh,
okay? It
wow.
was a very offbeat destination because 11 years ago, right, there wasn't so much tourism from India.
Yeah, of course, of
So,
course. Yeah, yeah.
right, and I did an Airbnb in which like I had like a homestay kind of thing. So she was a Vietnamese girl, and she was so curious. She was the biggest John Abraham fan.
Oh,
Okay. Biggest John Abraham fan. Yeah, she was telling us of all the movies that she's seen and everything. So it was a really good experience that we had. Now we went to Danang for 3 days that time, and I remember that we wanted bread because my husband's 100 completely vegetarian and I only eat chicken. So now I'm going to every shop and going like, I'm maybe not pronouncing it right. So I was saying banh mi, something. I was saying some
Uh-huh.
weird thing. Finally, there's one lady in the shop who like holds my hand and takes me slightly inside. So I was like, what is she giving me? She gives me a sanitary napkin pack. And she gives it to me, and I was like, no, no, bun me, bun me. She's just looking, I think her pronunciation was totally off. And then finally, we saw a girl selling bread, in a cart, like, it was
Yeah,
there on the cart, yeah, with the big loaves of bread.
yeah,
Finally, I was like, oh, and then I saw how it was like bun me. So maybe I was saying it wrong. But I'll never forget that. Like,
yeah.
that auntie very nicely
Yeah.
giving me the sanitary napkin. And I'm like, no, 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 eating, eating kind of stuff. So yes, I feel like traveling before, the internet took us by storm and AI and everything was a whole different experience. Now we plan everything to the T. We're going to
Yeah,
reach here.
yeah.
A cab is going to pick us up. I booked the cab. The hotel is going to do this. We're going to do this. So there is no room for, just authentic, genuine, travel, talk to the locals, walk around.
Yeah, my cousin came here like 1 month ago, and she's asking me like, Rahul, can you take me here? Can you take me there? Like what are these places? Even I don't know. I've been living in Hanoi 5 years now. She's like, oh, do you know
Wow.
this cafe? Or do you know that restaurant? Like what? Where? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever, because I think you have more travel history than me. Have you ever gotten lost while traveling?
Uh, Not lost, but took a wrong path and went the exact opposite direction of where we had to.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so not entirely lost again, but I was with family. I was with my uncle and my cousins, and we were in Switzerland in some place called Schweizimen, and we had to take the train going to the southern part of it, okay, to Montreux. We sit inside, and I'm like, why does this train look different than the train we traveled in? The color
Uh-huh.
is different, the seats are different. Then the ticket collector comes and he goes like, and he's like, wrong train, wrong train. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I read somewhere that the fine for traveling, ticketless traveling in a train is, I think, some 5,000 euros or something like that. And here I'm going like one, two, three, four people. I was like, oh my God, we are going to be poor after this trip. I was like, what are we going to do? Right? And then I was like, oh my God, my heart was, oh my God, I cannot tell you the fear I felt that time. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I was like, I didn't know, I didn't know. Then he was like, oh, it's okay. Just get off at the next station and just to the next train. I was like, oh my God, we are not going to be poor after
Yeah.
20,000 euros. I could not even imagine if
This would have been a perfect ordeal.
it was an ordeal. And the predicament I was in was, see, now I was also a teenager. I think I was like something, what, 19, 20 that time. My thing was like, this uncle of mine is going to wake up from his nap and he is going to give me the lecture of a lifetime, right? Right? Now you have to understand how that feels as a teenager.
So I'll not tell, it's not a travel disaster,
Hmm.
but like 2, 3 years ago, the bus that I was traveling in, he dropped me in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. somewhere in the countryside in Cambodia. I was completely alone. I slept at a gas station.
Oh my God, like the whole night. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
was
I
it cold?
hitchhiked back to Hanoi from Cambodia.
Oh my God, that must be risky also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It was really.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
scary, man.
I
I
have.
I mean,
I've been solo travel. I solo travel a lot, like five
okay.
years ago. So I
Hmm.
have do a lot of stories. I think we should make another episode just for
Yeah, over
traveling.
travel. Absolutely.
All right, okay. Let's mix it up now. All right.
Hmm. Let's do fear and courage.
Okay, okay. So I'll go with the first question for you.
Okay.
What's a fear you've managed to overcome, and how did you do it?
Hmm. I don't know if this is a fear, but I was very scared to, put myself out there to do better at a job. like as we spoken about it, right? I moved from one profession to another, okay, because I was not trying truly finding my joy, and I felt like, hey, this was nice. I learned a lot of things, but this is not for me. So I went from being, practicing advocate. So I didn't really work in a firm or anything. I was in, working under a senior lawyer. Then I moved on to being a flight attendant. Over there was time to move. So when I kept moving, right, I realized that I had never internally ever, grown in a company.
Okay.
Right? So, see, giving interviews for new jobs are also not easy. But I never tried to grow in the same company. And that I only and only had to do in Canada, because when I got a job with Apple, I really liked the job. I wanted to stay in the same company, but I also wasn't happy entirely. You want to grow in the job, right?
Yeah,
And also at that point, right, unlike the regular itch of going like, oh, let me try something new. See, again, life also got tougher in Canada, right? I had to pay the bills and everything.
yeah,
So couldn't just be like, oh, let me try something new.
yeah, yeah,
That was really tough, because when I applied for it or something and started giving the interviews, and I realized how desperately I wanted it, right? And the more you really want something, right, the more stress you take upon yourself. Then I realized that, oh my God, that this is, if not more, equally hard, like constantly applying for new jobs. Because here, my future depends on it. My future finances depend on this. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was more on the edge than applying, for new professions. So I feel like that was a severe, like, roadblock. Like, that used to always go like, oh my God, I wanted so desperately, I wanted. But then when COVID happened, right, Rahul, I told myself it's now or never, right? Like this is the time, because companies were
Yeah.
shifting gears rapidly. So I was like, so somebody had taught me this one thing, okay, that in life or anything in a company, also life, it comes in waves. You need to learn to ride the wave. Okay, so he told me this. He was like, Sonika, just relax, but learn to ride the wave. And I still think of this from time to time, because came to know that this is the time that it's time to hit the hammer right now. Okay, like last world is very uncertain. This is the time to jump right in. So I jumped right in, and obviously I didn't get the first kind of promotion that I applied for. And then Rahul, I kid you not, for a year and a half, I gave 11 interviews. 11 interviews in the same company, out of which I think in five or six of them I reached the finals, like towards the very end. It was just me and another person. And it was always something that, oh, so sorry, Sonika, this is not going to work out. The first one time it happened, right? I can't tell you, like it took me so back. I was like, what? Like, like, like they say that meme, like, Meri selection nahi hui hai. I was like, what? How could this happen to me?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that was not an easy thing to overcome. And then, right, is one of those things, you keep getting bowled out again and again, now, then you lose all hesitation. And then finally, when I got the promotion, it was bittersweet. I
Okay,
was
okay,
still
okay.
sad about all the promotions I didn't get, but I was happy that I got one right now. So I think that was one fear that, it was hard to overcome.
But it's hard to overcome this thing.
True. Agreed.
You
But
cannot.
I'll also tell you one thing. It is hard, right? But now I notice that, and now that I am teaching mostly focused to adult learners, right? I've noticed that everybody now has that, there's a limit to how much they will take, how much they'll bear.
Hmm.
And someday in that one office meeting where you're going like, this is it. I'm not going to take this anymore.
Uh-huh.
Then that person, like, say contacts me and goes like, okay, Sonika, I've agreed, I've decided to learn English now.
Uh-huh.
And whenever I ask them the reason, right? For everybody, there has been that one aha moment, like this is it, my life changes today, right? So that uncertainty becoming a certainty that I have it in me what I need and I will do it. I think everybody has that, and the day
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
switch flips, they are ready for that journey. So I
Yeah.
think it is happening for all of us.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Totally agree. All right, you have like 6 minutes. Okay, you can just ask me one question.
Okay. Okay, what's one challenge you're hoping to overcome in the future?
I can't. It's hard for me to just narrow down to one challenge.
Tell us anything, whatever is like the top of your list. It could
Okay,
be the most
okay.
basic thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think the for first and foremost, the one thing that I can think of right now is money management.
Okay,
As
that's a very important one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still find it very difficult to manage money at time, and I don't know
Okay.
why. Maybe it's because I'm too ambitious at something, and then I will put my whole heart and soul in one thing, and then I would
Okay.
feel that oh no, no, this is not working. Let me go and put my money somewhere else on my mind. I don't know what is this about me. Is that I can't stick to one thing for a long
No,
time.
I'm in
This
the same
is
boat with you.
one challenge that I, because I think I have talents and interests in so many different things. Like I
Hmm.
want to do coding. I want to become the best guitar player. I want to become a pilot. I want to do this. I want to do that. So this one challenge is very difficult for me to choose and stick with it, and to maybe I feel like, oh, maybe I think I should switch over. Maybe that is the better opportunity and that fits me more. So
No,
right
I feel
now,
you.
I'm teaching in a public school, but all of a sudden I started like, oh, let me see YouTube. Oh, okay. Now let me see. What if I become a math teacher? Someday I'll feel like, oh, let me become a professor. Cause when you have the talent and hunger, and you want to do so many things in your life, it becomes hard to choose something,
See,
I think.
you truly have the mental fortitude for these things. That's also important, right? And I get you.
Yeah.
That say every day in the morning you wake up and you choose a new adventure. I feel like you and I are on the same boat here. Even I wake up some morning and I go like, oh my God, maybe I should just learn this also. Maybe I should learn that also. I'm always looking for a new teacher. When I say
Yeah.
new teacher, I'm looking for a teacher who will teach my father and me a harmonium because we know basic, we need to learn more. So then I'm like, okay, mummy, I think let's find a new teacher. Then my mother and I go to Sanskrit class every Saturday for the last 2 years,
Oh,
right? So I constantly feel like I need to keep finding new teachers and new gurus to learn something. So I'm on the same boat, as you. We would be sailing together, thinking what next to do right now.
because I think like how the youngsters have the FOMO of not visiting and doing something. We have this FOMO
Oh
of
my
not
God,
achieving something in life now.
I told someone the same thing that day. I was like, people have FOMOs about, oh my God, I didn't get invited to the party and I didn't go to that holiday. My FOMO is like, oh, this is one profession I have not done. Like
Yeah.
that was my FOMO right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I will still take this over other things. I still think that, right? The more you learn, the more happy you go to bed in the
Yeah.
night. I feel like, yeah, every day I feel like, hey, I think I learned one thing new today that I didn't know yesterday. So I think that joy should
Yeah.
is
And
it makes up for more than anything else.
yeah, and I think this is something that I would actually also prefer, because at the end of the day, let's say like 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I have so many things to talk about. Instead of just like having like,
Absolutely.
oh, I spent 30 years of my life behind the computer. I was just like working in a dead end job. But I can say like, oh, I
Absolutely.
can talk about science. I can talk about travel here, travel there. I can talk about music.
Exactly, right? Like these stories, right? Like, hey,
Yeah,
I went there, I was traveling, I got somebody, like, I disembarked in the middle of nowhere.
yeah,
These stories come with putting yourself out there. And I think putting yourself out there looks different for different people. But it's important to take that step. So for
yeah,
anybody out there who feels like, they're in a dead end job, or something is not moving, if the needle is not moving, you've got to move it. You
yeah.
have to kind of, wind your clock. That's it.
Exactly. Many people say like, "Oh, I don't have any interest." Like there are thousands of things in the world that you have not even explored. Just go out
Absolutely.
and see. They
There is
don't want to
something for someone.
explore.
Absolutely. There is definitely something for someone out there.
All right, thank you so much, Sonika, for an entertaining afternoon for me. It was such a
Thank you,
great
Rahul. Me too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I hope that you also had like something new you learned, or maybe you didn't talk about these things in regular
Yeah,
life.
it's
Yeah,
true. It's been a while,
something.
spoken
Yeah,
about
it's
these
been a
things.
while. Yeah. So again, I don't
Once
know
again,
how to
thank you.
appreciate your time, and I really hope that our viewers can also appreciate what they learned, because we did use
Absolutely.
a lot of words, and I hope that
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
can
I think it's a
they
great
can
format you have going. So all the very best with this. Very entertaining, something different than the routine. So,
yes.
I think I'm sure every learner will learn something from it.
All right.
And I hope that we get a chance to connect in the future. And I'm hoping that if I start getting more active on YouTube, I'll definitely reach out to you as well.
Yes, okay.
Thank you so much for having me over. I really, really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so bye bye. Have a nice day,
Bye bye. Take
everyone,
care.
and
You
thank you
too.
so much to Sonika again.